Randy Edsall, what a job he's done this year. They're in third place in the Big Ten East. Of course, not a great division. We know that, but I don't think of any bad losses. Michigan State, Ohio State, they are 7-3. Randy Edsall is in the fourth year of a 6-year contract. We know that coaches don't like to go into the final year of their contract with uncertainty. Is it time for Maryland to consider giving Randy Edsall extension based on what he's done so far, Dan?
I don't know. You know, we did a segment at the beginning of this season with a bunch of people, I think none of whom work at the Washington Post anymore, where we said what
a lot of turnover since then. Is
what
that
the
what
best case scenario would be for the Terps. And I think that we all agreed that maybe the best case was 6-6, and maybe one person said 7-5, but now they've clinched at least 7-5.
I think Forsyth was Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they've done,
That's right. Of course they did.
They've done so much better than I think anyone thought was possible. And sure, part of it was Penn State and Michigan being kind of lousy, and those were road games, but. Still, I mean, I understand what you say, but it's such a leap from 12 months ago when people were like, Randy Edsall's going to have to take a wagon out of town after this first season. So I just don't know that I can say the words Randy Edsall needs an extension. But I could understand the argument. But
well, Adam, they were picked 5th in the preseason. I don't think anyone expected going into the year for them maybe to beat Penn State or Michigan. Turns out Michigan is having a horrible season under Brady Hoke, and Penn State probably is not what they want to be. Is that enough for Randy Edsall to be considered to give it an extension?
I mean, Maryland's just on such that treadmill, in the middle. It's like, okay, so if you fire it, if Edsall's not your coach in 2 years, who are you getting that's better?
Yeah.
But if Randy Edsall is your coach, how far are you really going to go? Are you going to do better than 8-4 or whatever they finish this year and the before Brady Bowl or wherever they end up? I mean, what? I mean, I guess it basically do whatever. You're going to be 5-7 some years. You're going to be 8-3 some years. How is Maryland getting to that next level? And how are you going to do better than Edsall? But I don't know. So,
but winning at Michigan and Penn State, that's giving a lot of joy to people who haven't had a lot of football.
Yeah, that's regardless of how bad those programs are this year.
Yeah, I think Edsall's had a great year. It's been an awesome year for the program. But other than the fun, the neat, novel idea of winning at these two traditional powers are awful this year. What more are you going to do?
Well, Ken, you've seen a lot of college football. Has Randy Edsall done enough, or is this enough of a sample size for him to be considered for an extension?
Yeah, and that's the short answer, but the longer answer is because it's Maryland.
Yeah.
And, I think he's done enough. Is it a slam dunk? No, not at all. But who are you going to get? You're not going to get, you're not going to get a Mike Gundy to come coach at Maryland yet. That's not where they are right now in college football. And I think Edsall has done enough to get an extension. Just maybe it's a shorter extension just to give him a little bit more time and see what he can do, see the recruits. But he has overachieved.
Yeah.
And you can't take anything away from that. I mean, with injuries, the wide receivers have been hurt a lot of the year. I mean, they've done a lot more than I thought they would do. And so I probably would have been one of the ones saying they weren't going to be any good this year. Mm-hmm. They've done okay. Plus, in the Big Ten, as we've seen, I mean, these teams are going up and down constantly. Sure. I don't think this is ever going to be a national power exactly. They could be in contention for the Big Ten championship anytime because Michigan is so down. Teams like Rutgers and Minnesota are so up. Maryland has a chance. And so I think he's shown me enough, at least right now, that he needs a couple more years.
I think we can also say I think his career record against ranked teams is 1 in something.
Yeah.
1 in 23 or 1 in 24 or something like that. I think when we talk about overachieving is beating ranked teams.
Well, luckily they don't play that many ranked teams in the Big Ten.
And when they did, they got stomped this year, to be fair.